Studying abroad is not just about academia, jobs, and careers, but much more, like being independent, personality development, making friends globally, learning about different cultures, traveling, and many more enriching, unforgettable experiences. Hook on to our episodes of Student Spotlight and get fruitful insights about our students who share their beautiful journeys with you. In today's episode, we have Soumya from Surat. Having completed a mix of CBSE and IB board schooling, he is pursuing his undergraduate degree in economics at the University of Warwick. Soumya has successfully secured a summer internship and is actively involved in a lot of extracurricular activities at the Warwick University. Tune in to listen to him discuss why he chose Warwick and share his insights on the process of applying for summer internships.
I'm Soumya Shah. I'm from Surat, Gujarat. Not a lot of people from Gujarat out here. I'm doing economics, a second year student at Warwick. So basically, starting off, I was very focused on academics and I had this strong, keen interest in economics. Till 10th, I did the CBSE board. Then after 10th, I was advised that if you want to go abroad, go do the IB, which is the International Baccalaureate. Then I transitioned to IB. Transition was quite hard because boards are quite different. CBSE is more focused on learning and load learning, where IB is more focused on sort of creativity analysis, and then you write essays and stuff. That transition particularly for me was very hard. But anyways, I switched to IB and it was the COVID time, so I couldn't go to school as well. And since it was online, it was sort of easier for me to cope up with things. Then it was especially during my IB years that I developed this keen interest in economics. My teacher told us to read articles and stuff, and at the same time I did sort of research. I wrote research papers and everything, which sort also published. And then basically I met someone from the London School of Economics. She advised me that UK is a great place to come and study, maybe work if you're interested in that. And so during my 11th, I started to look at universities abroad, specifically in the UK. And then I applied to, you can apply to 5 universities, right? My first choice was Oxford. I applied to LSE, Warwick, UCL, and then King's College. Unfortunately, I couldn't get all of them, but I did get Warwick, and I was very much interested into the whole campus life and wanted to have a campus where you can even explore things, which is why I decided to come here. Yeah, that was my journey from start to end.
So you mentioned about the transitioning from CBSE to IB was a challenge.
Yeah.
Did it reflect in your scores as well, if I may ask, and if you're okay to give us
Sure.
your scores out? How much did you score? What were your power subjects where you scored well?
Right. So till 10th, basically, as I said, I was always relatively good at academics. I was in fact the valedictorian of my class as well in 10th. Initially, when I transitioned to IB, yes, it was hard. I did get a dip in my scores. So basically, for those who don't know, IB scale from 0 to 45. 45 is the highest that you can score. And my subjects were mathematics, economics, and business at higher level, which was again my interest. And I was always interested in mathematics as well. But then since I said it was the COVID period, it did help me because I had time to explore and talk to people and learn more about how the IB functions. That helped me, and then over time in my 11th and 12th, again, I got back on track. But again, it's just about how much effort you put in, right? And that really helped me. And then my predicted score was 44 out of 45, which I think really helped me to get into Warwick. And then my final score was 43 out of 45, which again, I think is a relatively good score.
What was the condition?
The condition was 39 out of 45 for Warwick, with 7 in mathematics and then 6 in economics and business. And then I got 7 in all of them.
Okay. And how were you at CBSE? How much did you score in your 10th?
In 10th, I scored 97%, with I think top scoring grades in mathematics and science. And I think with that 97%, again, that formed a strong base of mathematics, which then also helped me in IB. Because one similarity that I'd say between IB and CBSE is that you need to have, if you're doing mathematics at higher level in IB, you need to have a strong foundation of mathematics. And that also helps in economics as well.
Okay, right. So you mentioned you applied to with UCAS 5 universities.
Yeah.
What would have been your top choice?
My top choice was obviously Oxford, and then I was uh, sort of indifferent between LSE and Warwick. LSE is obviously a very good institution, very renowned, but then Warwick is again good ranking wise for economics. But then, as I said, I needed the campus life aspect, which is why I was indifferent between Warwick and LSE.
Okay. What was your, what do you think in your application to these universities would have been, would have given more weightage, right? So was it just the academics, or was it your extracurriculars, or your personal statement, your referencing? What played a bigger role as per you?
So keeping Oxford aside, because Oxford has a very lengthy application process. They have a few different things. They have this exam called TSA, Thinking Skills Assessment. So keeping that aside, for most other universities, and especially in the UK, we know that it's more focused on academics, and extracurriculars aren't as much as important as they're in the US. So I think academics is something which is really important. If you want to do courses like economics, engineering, or basically any other STEM course, mathematics is very much important. Top scoring, top grades in mathematics. And then with universities like LSE, UCL, Warwick, basically all the tier 1 and tier 2 universities, personal statement also plays a very important role. Because what I realize is that a lot of people have good grades. And when you don't have it, how are you going to differentiate between somebody who has similar grades? That is where personal statement comes into the picture, which is why that is also very important. And with regards to Oxford and Cambridge, I think they're one of the few universities who take examinations if you want to get into economics. As I said, they had this examination called TSA. That is the most important factor other than grades. You get your grades, you score well, like top 20% in the TSA, and then you get an interview, and after the interview, you get the offer. So that is a very lengthy process, but I think TSA is very important if you want to go into Oxford.
So the deadlines would be in October.
For Oxford and Cambridge, I think it's 15th October, if I'm not wrong, but somewhere around that.
Right.
And then from other universities, it's January. Yeah.
So you applied before the deadline?
Yeah, I applied around 13th and 14th October.
Okay, and which university did you hear about the earliest?
Earliest I heard from Warwick. Okay. That was in December, I guess.
Okay, but you applied in October?
In October, yeah.
For Warwick as well?
For Warwick as well.
Okay, nice. So far, how has your student journey or student life been in Warwick?
It's been very volatile. But yeah, again, very new experience, but I've enjoyed that. So when you I come from business family, basically, and I've always been told that you don't need to apply for jobs, or as we have spring weeks over here and summer internships over here. I've always been told that, which is why I think that sort of made me more laid back to my approach in my first year. I came to Warwick, I was like, don't need to look for that. You've done your 12th, you worked hard, it's time to chill, which is a very wrong perspective, obviously. But then when I came, frankly speaking, I did not perform well in my first term of the first year, which gave me a sort of a reality check that, okay, no, you need to keep putting in the work, no matter what your long-term goal is, because obviously you're paying a lot for studying in the UK. And for the sake, if not for anything, at least for that sake, you need to put in the work. And then, which is when I realized, and I started to work towards applications for jobs for society. I'm a part of INSA and another investment society, which is Pan UK. And then I started to work on my academics as well, physically as well. And I learned how to cook, learn how to do laundry, basically every aspect of life that you challenged and then you learn. And then second year, I'm quite used to that life now. Isn't very challenging for me, and I'm actually happy about that. Okay, it's very balanced for me as of now.
Academically, how is it? How easy or difficult is it moving from year 1 to year 2?
Moving from year 1 to year 2, I think it is quite challenging. The content is quite harder, and then you have the pressure in terms that first year wasn't counted in your degree, but then the second and third year they are counted, they have like 50-50 each, and then they give the final, yeah. So that pressure is there, obviously, and then modules, you have some flexibility, but then I've chosen modules such as econometrics and stuff, which is quite hard, academically challenging, but then I think it keeps you engaged as well.
Okay. So what are your future plans like? You're in year 2, of course, too early to speak, but any vision you have for yourself?
I do. So, well, speaking of the coming few years, I have a banking internship lined up at Barclays in the London office. So 2 months of my summer, June to August, basically, I'm going to be working there. Hopefully, I'll get a grad role, fingers crossed. Maybe continue to work in London for like few years.
So Barclays, what domain are you in?
In banking, corporate banking.
Corporate.
Yeah.
All right, nice. So does that align with your course of econ?
Partly yes, because econ gives you, I mean, I would say it aligns more with the finance courses, but then with econ, obviously it's a very quantitative course. So you obviously develop transferable skills that you can put into that role, which I think obviously helped me in my application as well and in my final interviews as well.
Nice. How lengthy are the applications? What is required to crack those?
I would say a lot is required to crack these applications, especially in the finance and the banking industry. So for me personally, I started to look at that, look at all the applications and be more focused around February 2023. I started my journey in February.
That was February 23. So you were in year 1, second semester.
Second semester, yeah.
That's when you started for your summers.
That is when I started to prep for my summers. Applications usually open around August, but then if you need to be well prepared, you have to start like at least 6 months early.
Right.
So I started February 2023 and I got my offer December 2023.
Just for clarity's sake, summers is a period between your year 2 and 3?
Yeah.
For a couple of months, 6
For
weeks?
a couple of months, yeah. 8 to 10 weeks.
8 to 10 weeks, where all undergraduate students want to try and get this summer internship or like a summer, work experience, which then they want to impress their employers and want to convert them into full-time employment post year 3 after graduating. Am I right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying you started February 23 when you were in year 1, Sem 2.
Yeah.
For applying for your summer's internship that is going to happen in between year 2 and 3.
Yeah. So,
That will open in August, which is again when you start your year 2.
yeah.
So you were pre-planned.
I was pre-planned and I found that it is quite necessary to do that because application-wise, there are a few stages. You make your CV gets screened, you get a test. You pass the test, you get a higher view, which is basically a video interview that is screened by AI. After you've passed that is then you come to the final stage, which is the assessment center, which is usually in person, where an actual vice president or some senior employee of the company is interviewing you, and then you get the offer. So it's basically 3 to 4 stages. But then most people get screened out in the first 2 stages. So for example, I learned from one of my senior friends that around 40,000 people applied and then around 400 got to the assessment center.
Wow.
Which is 1%, and then like 60 to 80 people get the offer. I'd say it is also very much luck based. You need to be lucky for that. I mean, I know people who have applied to like 100, 120 internships, still haven't got one. I applied to around 80, 90. I think I was lucky enough to get one. But yeah, obviously it's a very lengthy process. You have to be alert and you have to make sure that you apply on the very first day or like the first few days of the job opening.
So again, statistically speaking, you applied to say around 80 internships.
Yeah.
And how many got you into assessment centers?
I got around 2 assessment centers as of now.
And you cracked one?
I cracked one, yeah. I might get others hopefully, but then I've already...
You're in pipeline.
Yeah.
To get the reverse batch.
I could, but I'm not really looking for that right now. I'm very happy with what I've got.
All right. Nice. So at Warwick and studying your course, apart from your routine academic stuff, how is your day like? What do you indulge yourself into?
So basically, I start my day by making chai because that is very much ingrained in me. But I wake up...
Indian chai.
Yeah, Indian chai.
milk and sugar, enough of milk and no black tea.
Ginger and everything. Yeah.
Wow. Nice.
I also have chai masala that I got from my home.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I make that, and then I head off to campus. I have classes, seminars. Between those classes and seminars, maybe I'll grab something from. We have this dosa stall over here. They make good paneer wraps and everything.
Right.
A lot of vegetarian options out here. But yeah, whatever we have, I use that. But then I also prefer to get something packed from home, which cuts my spending. If I have time, though, depends on my schedule. And then
So you cook, you mean?
I cook daily.
Nice.
Yeah. And then whatever. So let's say if I'm making dinner tonight, I'm going to make enough so that I have some for tomorrow's lunch as well.
Okay.
That is how we plan cooking and stuff. Yeah. So I come on campus and then attend my classes, lectures, maybe have some society meetings as well. Some socializing as well. We have this spot called The Grid, where a lot of people come and just do their work or meet each other. And then around 5 to 6, I usually plan and go home. And then after I'm home, I cook, have dinner. I cook and then go to the gym, have dinner. And that is usually my day.
Okay.
Yeah.
You live on campus?
No, I used to live on campus in first year. But then a lot of people in Warwick move out of campus in the second and third years. I'm currently living in Leamington, which is like 30 minutes away from Warwick.
You're right.
And then we have to get a bus pass as well for every term. And then we commute like 30 minutes to and fro every day.
That's like the whole of Warwick does that, isn't it?
Whole,
Most of them have
yeah.
heard moving to Leamington.
Yeah, in second year, yeah.
Okay, that's nice. Any additional activities, extracurricular activities you build on, or any upskilling you do?
Sure, yeah. So basically in my first year, I was looking to explore different things. And I had been into theater and acting in my schooling years as well. So I decided to sort of continue that. I gave a few auditions, got a few rejections, got a few roles as well. But then I also wanted to be attached with that line. So I got into set management and production. There's this society called Warwick University Drama Society. I was the co-set manager in one of those places. That was a good experience. And then TEDx talks, very popular thing. We have this society called TEDx Warwick as well. I was the corporate relations team member in that society. So my role was basically getting funding for the society. Again, that was a very good networking opportunity for me. Met a lot of professionals throughout the UK.
Great. So I think future looks quite lined up for you. You've had quite an enduring journey. Thank you very much, Soumya, for sharing your insights with our students. It's always inspiring for students who are looking to come to UK or go abroad. They want to know the journey of students, and you're one such success story. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me here.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of TSS. If you enjoyed what you heard, be sure of sharing it with other students and leave us a comment. Your feedback helps us continue to provide valuable content to students everywhere. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the world around you. Thank you.